him showing her things makes her very comfortable, stable, which adds to the Prince Charming elements that society has quote unquote made women really get the illusion that I set a framework for a man, and the man that I choose right now, I'm gonna make him measure up to that. And I might have to look past some things, but the person that I want him to be is the person that he's gonna be. And I'm telling you, in a lot of my reads, that's tragic because it's making them go years of not realizing the guy or the person in front of them. And a lot of his red flags have already started to show. In terms of he's needing intimacy, she's needing a relationship. She's intimate with him before he's ever said anything about a relationship. So he's gotten very accustomed to, I don't have to give words of affirmation. I don't have to give acts of service. I don't have to do quality time in public. She's comfortable with intimate quality time and physical touch with me just, I could call every once in a while. I could words of defamation. All right, I'm Esoteric Rose, a clairvoyant, astrologer, reader, human being, just a grounded individual. Today, I want to kind of talk about intimacy and why men seem to be creatures of intimacy and women seem to be creatures of relationship and community. I think that's very important. I think that I do a lot of readings predominantly with ladies calling in about romantic issues. And I do want to say this. Because of the nature of how testosterone works, is my personal impression, and I think science has proven that testosterone runs very thick in men, and I think that women are really attracted to the men with the higher levels of testosterone, the men who seem to be exuding the alpha traits or the traits that really sort of come across as gravitationally magnetic in terms of male prowess, in deer strength and determination. Because I think that there's a nature in men, the way that we are made, is sort of fortitude to conquer the world. That life will present a woman with obstacles, and a man is sort of designed in ways to make a roof, to make life more comfortable, affordable. So that makes the element of relation very impactful upon a woman's impression of relationship, personality, and what she's seeking in the dynamics of things. She's looking for someone that can help facilitate not making the world so harsh. If there's a dangerous animal, the person who can conquer that dangerous animal, the person who can engineer the strength to make the rainstorm not as formidable, or the lightning not as encroaching on her sensibilities. Her father is usually her first impression of the type of character who can make the world not so formidable. If it's economic, a father of economic prowess, of practicality, he'll show a woman a large amount of credibility in terms of what a man is needing to do to make the world not such a burden on her comfortability, her security. And I think that that really shows why relation is important. They either do early development or lack of early development. Her understanding of the character of a man, what type of man is needing to handle certain life complications and life afflictions, really sort of sets the framework at which she starts to deduce the traits that which a man is capable of. And I think that, and men are really function in a way that I'm meant to serve in some way, either a healthy constructor man. I think that a psychotic or a narcissistically deranged male energy is probably a lot less suited towards these elements, a lot more selfish, a lot more self-intended, a lot more manipulative, a lot more life is about me, and the grandiosity or the elements of confusion or the elements of manipulation that suit me more so than I am suited to help stop world problems from impressing on my mother, my family, my lover, my children. See the archetype. So when men structured that way, when a man gets an impression as a younger child, he's needing to get the, I see my dad making my mom's life easier. I see my grandpa making my grandma's life easier. My grandpa's a plumber. I know how to fix pipes so that when our family could never flood, our toilet could never overrun. So, the man who learns to, your next door neighbor, when your toilet is overrunning and you got stuff coming up, and the man who could rush to the occasion, plunge that toilet, fix the pipes, tell you that this is wrong with your car, I heard it ticking. His elements of acts of service, lessening the burden, are really authentic to how he shows love. But his need is intimacy. That because of this I'm beat up, the world beats me up, I'm oppressed by circumstances. It makes a void in intimacy that makes men really sensitive to. I'm seeking intimacy. I'm seeking depth. I'm seeking someone who's intimate to the core, someone who can touch my heart and make peace in a world of disaster. So, with that in mind, as he's seeking intimacy, as he's seeking that core, not necessarily seeking relationship, that a woman is seeking relationship, someone she can relate to stop things from hurting her. A man is not necessarily, he's designed not to seek someone who can help him fight things off. He'll have constituents, friends, and family that probably function in that way. And that's why his nature of friendship is with battle tested, hard line truths, people who have weathered the storm, people who have stood the test of time, not necessarily people he gossips with or is really shallow or trying to build a nature of affinity and likeness with. That a man's concept of friendship is not necessarily people who, get together and gossip and really have really shallow or just very superficial level. Girl, you're cute, guy, you're cute type elements. Most of his friends, to be in a man's friend zone, is to be somebody who's probably had to fights with him, who's had to bail him out of tough consequences, really had weathered the storm. A woman, is hard for a woman to really be in the place of the guys who he punches and goes drinking and cursing out with on the Saturday. So that's a tough conflict between, men are seeking intimacy, women are seeking relations. So really, women are trying to relate through words of affirmation, quality time in public, elements where I feel like you're invested in me, so I'm willing to invest in us. Men are really craving physical touch, intimate quality time a lot of times. And by women trying to get what they're getting and men trying to get what they're needing, and both women trying to get what they're needing, validation. I need to know that I'm the center of attention. A little girl is often denied that, or overly graduated with that you're pretty, you're attractive, you need to be feeling important. So she's looking for that words of affirmation to show her that because I'm looking in this direction, I'm feeling like I'm validated for the decisions and sacrifices that I'm making. So she's looking for that in a relationship, something that shows that I can be invested in this long term. This is going to reward me past today. A man is needing sort of intimate gratification, which can be acute today. A man that's gotten himself into physical issues and he's going to jail tomorrow, he may need to be intimately healed today. His oppression, his stress, his trauma is make into women. That man is probably coming across tonight as the most attractive male. He may have a lot of demons hiding now. You don't know what he may have to go to jail tomorrow. But out tonight, he's so thirsty. His oppression for intimacy is making him a magnet to women who can't discern that element. That a man's need for intimacy comes from a place that's not his loving element. It's from his natural arcane sense of functionality, that without intimacy, he does not make progeny. With a woman, she can make progeny with she, is with she's without a relationship, she can't make progeny. It's hard to kind of configure that, but a woman is not looking at, I cannot, her sexual limitations really configure around her not getting pregnant or her getting pregnant. If I lay with this man, what's the potential of this child impregnating, this person impregnating me? And even if we're using contraception, and we are in a very progressive abortion element of phase in life, but it's still, a woman is laying with the man with if I have to put on a barrier, then I don't want to have your child. That's a huge, that means that she's sexually not, she's compromising. She's not, this is not I'm having sex with you because of other reasons, because I think we're gonna have a relationship, because this is what you're pressuring me to do. You may have showered me with gifts, now I feel more compelled. Then no, you're the man that I'm biologically attracted to. I don't trust you. You can have a disease, so you need to protect yourself. See, all of these elements of how a man needs intimacy but a woman needs relationship is leading to, in a lot of my reads, where women are compromising intimacy and physical touch love languages, very much in the hope that this is the element that makes us closer. And I really, I really want women to really galvanize. I think a lot of information is coming out, and women are getting a lot better with understanding that the erogenous zone for women and men are two different things. That the erogenous zone for a man is validation of a physiological need that he has. The erogenous zone for a woman is opening up the most of her potential for what harmony can be. See, so a man is in love with his mom, with his daughters, with his sisters and his cousins he grew up with. He loves these ladies. If you came around these ladies and said when he will probably fight you to an end for him, I don't care the race of the man. If he really grew, he loves his family, his grandma. Somebody come in there and disrespect his grandma. Every man in the house is gonna fight about grandma. No man's intimate with his grandma. In a healthy family, no man is ever intimate. But the virtue of I'll die on the sword for this woman is there for his mother, his grandmother, his sisters. See, he won't die on the sword for every lady that he's intimate with. If a man goes to the bar tonight, pays a $50, got everybody rounds of drinks, and the woman that got the most drunk and wanted to follow him home because she was infatuated with him buying drinks, he gets intimate with her. She may be desperate. They're looking for the man of her dreams, soaking in pain, really emotionally vulnerable, or she could be looking for hookups and one night stands. I'm not saying that she's there seeking the man of her dreams, but he's definitely not going to be emotionally connected based off of by that sexual experience. He's actually going through the motions to get a means to an end, which is his intimate depth of need. His intimate cares have not been tended to. So he's very resourceful in the short term to satisfy his intimate needs. But those are in a different place than his loving mechanics. That his wife at home may be sacrificing his attention. He may not be showing her intimate attention. Very cruel, not looking in her direction because, whatever has triggered him, man. Unfortunately, men are very, you know, to her not making him fool, her being not as feminine as he would like her to, her maybe adding on weight, her image, really being critical upon mostly image things, at times could really make a woman frustrated at home with the man. I get a lot of calls of women who are very attractive, very much, but her husband is sort of denying her the attention and then looking in other directions, which that does show that the people that he's having intimacy with, one, are not the people that he died for. He probably died for the lady. He's starving out at home in terms of affection, but he'll never die or for the ladies that are on the side. And there's this element of sort of over gratification or external validation in men that really, it really is overly supplied by sexual gratification. That women, because they are relational, looking for relationships, seeking for relationships, needing a relationship dynamic to feel whole, a lot of the words of affirmation and needing to, her self validation comes from people, her partner, telling her, this is what we have. I love you. I think that you're the best thing that ever's happened to me. I want to see us married in 3 years. I see, here, let's go measure engage for engagement rings, and I'm putting down deposits. See, all these elements of acts of service, him showing her things makes her very comfortable, stable, which adds to the Prince Charming elements that society has quote unquote made women really get the illusion that I set a framework for a man, and the man that I choose right now, I'm going to make him measure up to that. And I might have to look past some things, but the person that I want him to be is the person that he's going to be. And I'm telling you, in a lot of my reads, that's tragic because it's making them go years of not realizing the guy or the person in front of them. And a lot of his red flags have already started to show in terms of he's needing intimacy. She's needing a relationship. She's intimate with him before he's ever said anything about a relationship. So he's gotten very accustomed to, I don't have to give words of affirmation. I don't have to give acts of service. I don't have to do quality time in public. She's comfortable with intimate quality time and physical touch with me just, I could call every once in a while. I could words of defamation or inconsistent acts of service, or when I'm not having this option, then I could call her and she's always jumping to my demands. That's really giving him the impression that I don't have to invest as much to receive what I can get. That lack of reciprocity is staggering for women who really believe that intimacy. And I'm not, you know, some women are love bombing, but most women are just thinking that if I compromise his love language, then it'll bring him closer to my way. When really it works as the antithesis. When I'm investing what he wants and I'm not getting what I need in return, there's a low probability of him being empathetic enough to say, okay, this relationship requires uh marriage, partnership, and intimate and the long term focus, when she's seemingly okay with intimacy without those things. So a lot of men are rolling off in fur language, gaslighting. Really, you've let down your boundary that is essential to your sense of stability, and he has not done that yet. So I think that I'm not. I think that we're very in the intimate sexual um expressive, progressive. I don't want anybody to feel like intimacy. I'm for freedom. I think that we weren't designed to be the way that we're operating, but a large amount of societal pressures make us have to function in relationship this way. They have not, the Native American cultures didn't necessarily feature, people living in the same teepee for all their lives together. Men were hunting and ranging. Sometimes the men of the tribe would be as north, and I'm in the Midwest, be as north as Canada. The females are moving south. Or sometime a woman might have been pregnant by one man in this season, but have another child by this man in the next season. See, but in our society, because women are so, emotionally touched with, I've opened my legs, so now my heart has to be open. That she has to be hyper considerate. That intimacy is a need of a man. It does not make a relationship is not a need of a man. That a man by himself or with his core group of family and friends is strong enough. A woman by herself, she can feel, quote unquote, the need for someone to protect her, someone to be on her arm, someone to shield the world from her. But what he needs is someone to be deep, somebody to be caring, somebody to be sort of a peace. And unfortunately, women have really compromised the peace between the legs, when he's gonna fall in love with the peace that you make in his heart. So the woman, I really would like for women to be more conscientious of that. That when I'm putting myself up to be hurt, to be, quote unquote, felt like I'm scammed, felt like I've been led astray, when in actuality I've given in to his needs without him having any obligation or focus to reciprocity at which he's shown. And people are very much creatures of habit. If I'm used to going to this well for this and I got to put this much effort in, very seldom do they put in different effort to achieve the same results. So I think just, women, is very important to jump into things. You want a relationship, so don't be so much the fuel for the fire of the communication. Don't be so much you need words of affirmation. So don't be the words of affirmation captain if that's what you need in return. He's the physical touch, intimate quality time captain. So you're going to notice he's pushing that, right? His agenda, you're going to have to fight off his agenda, but you're stressing your agenda. You're not stressing your agenda. You're providing your agenda. You're telling all of the information. I like you. I love this. This relationship is this, and all he's saying is, I want to touch you. When we gonna get together to have intimacy? Instead of you saying, well, I value quality time. I need, when do we really set the standards for what your love languages need to have reciprocated in the same effort that he's given to pressing things in his direction. And I think you get a lot more authenticity, him having to be relative to why, well, we can't do quality time in public because I got somebody else on the side. Well, we can only do intimacy because I've not been honest about what I got going on the side. But you constantly, I want this, he wants, I need this, I want a relationship without this, is just really giving them fuel for fire to dance around your insecurities in the future. So, I think that women could really, the intimacy need for men and the relationship need that women seem to bring in our structure as human beings really galvanize that, and how it conflicts with what women seem to be seeking in terms of relationships when they've already compromised the intimate quotient that men seem to seek in dynamics. So, shaming the man, saying he not married, you not married. Like, a man is not needing a woman to fight his battles most times, right? You're like designed. If two men were walking down the street and they're a threat to his harm, he's already learned how to deal with that. As a young kid, he probably got bullied. As a young woman, you may not have had to confront all the time male energy or oppression or the threat of harm. The threat of harm, a partner to make me get through tough times, is not necessarily how a man is wired to be. When I'm most oppressed, when I'm most stressed, I need somebody to care for me, to love me, to hug me, to make me feel they here. Men are really prone to that over words of affirmation. And we'll get into why words of affirmation have suffered in male female dynamics because of men's reluctance to use those because of damage in the past in the next episode.